If your go-to-market strategy isn't working and you have finally given up and realized that adding that one more feature isn't going to fix this, congratulations. Now we can actually fix your go-to-market strategy. Here's a big question though. What's actually broken and why isn't it working? You followed all the steps, you know all the pieces that go into a go-to-market strategy. Why isn't it working? Based on my experience in starting, scaling, and exiting my own SaaS business, based on helping hundreds of founders with their go-to-market strategy and fixing them to unlock growth, in this episode, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 top reasons, there we go, there's all of them, the 3 top reasons that founders get tripped up with their go-to-market strategy. And when you watch till the end and fix these 3 top mistakes, you will be able to transform your go-to-market strategy and accelerate your path to that next stage of growth. Intro. All right, mistake number 1 that I see with founders over and over, and I've made the same mistakes, so I'm not blaming you, and I'm not looking down on you in any way. I've made these mistakes. Baby Teak has made these mistakes. Mistake number 1 in your go-to-market strategy is you have diluted messaging. So first of all, let's define what messaging is. Messaging is the text that goes on your homepage. I know, you're changing the website. Everybody is. That's actually struggling with their go-to-market strategy. It's also the words that you use in any cold email or an ad or a LinkedIn post or pretty much anywhere you go to an event and try to describe what your company does. When you have diluted messaging, you're neither here nor there. You could take your messaging and you could replace your company name with Salesforce or Microsoft or Google, and it would kind of sound like they do it too. That means you have diluted messaging. So the first thing to do when you're fixing your go-to-market strategy is actually look at what's going on with my messaging and is it actually differentiated compared to the other people in the market, the big players in the market, or even another startup from across the street. If you are describing yourself as an AI agent for sales, well, congratulations, 9 million other startups, including the 5 new founders that are vibe coding it at this very moment, are also describing themselves with that, along with Salesforce, which has billions of dollars of marketing budget, so they're probably going to win, which means you actually need to look at your messaging and say, what's different? How do we actually communicate how we're 10 times better than anyone else? That's the first mistake that I see over and over and over and over and over when I'm working with founders and fixing their go-to-market strategy that isn't working in the market. And guess what? This actually goes back into that one more feature trap that I talked about in the beginning of this episode. The more features you add, the more complicated your messaging gets, and the harder it becomes for your potential customers to actually understand what you do and why you're better. Which is why it's super important to figure out, do I have diluted messaging? The litmus test for this is to take your messaging, replace your company name with Salesforce or Google or one of your competitors and ask yourself, can they claim this too? In which case, your messaging sucks and it's diluted and it's time to fix it. Mistake number 2 is zero positioning. Zero positioning happens in a few different scenarios, so I'm gonna walk you through each of them, and I've made the same mistake as well. A lot of times I'll meet a founder and say, look, we have no competition. No one else can do what we do. I'm like, congratulations. You actually have competition. It's called a spreadsheet or a piece of paper or the status quo. If you are going to be winning customers over and you're the first person that's going to be getting them to use your type of software, your competition is their apathy. Your competition is them not doing a single thing and waking up the next morning and doing the same thing they were doing yesterday. That's your competition. Now, competition gets more intense. In other cases, you might actually have a very big competitor. Going back to the Salesforce example, if you're building an AI-first CRM or a sales tool, Salesforce, Outreach, SalesLoft, they're all competitors. And you have to start looking at it through your customer's eyes, not through your eyes where you know why your features are 10 times better. So let me explain. You want to look at your messaging, and these two are connected. You actually want to look at your messaging, and you want to look at it not from the frame of, oh, I know all my features, and I know why it's 10 times better. I've used it, or I've used the others. You have to look at it from the framing of the naked eye, which means your prospect, your ideal customer that hasn't seen a demo yet. They're just looking at an ad or looking at a cold email or just looking at your homepage and hasn't even clicked on the demo video yet. You have to look at it from the naked eye and ask yourself, do I actually have positioning? Am I taking a position on what is the competition and how are we 10 times better? And how do we get ahead of explaining that as early as possible before they even look at a single feature, log into the product, look at a demo video, or book a call with us? That's the bar. That's positioning. That's actually taking the other side, looking at it from your prospect's eyes and saying, what is the competition? How are we 10 times better? And how do we communicate that ahead of them taking any action? Because in their heads, either this is already a solved problem, they don't have to change their status quo, or the solution they know about is the best solution to go with, or even worse, you suck because you're a startup and they don't want to trust you because you're probably overpromising your AI features, which happens all the time. I'm sure you're not the one doing it. I never do it. But there are founders that do that kind of thing, which makes it harder for the rest of us. So at the end of the day, you want to look at your positioning and your messaging, both of these, and start to look at it from your prospect's perspective instead of your perspective. Because I know you're awesome, you know you're awesome, but your prospects don't, which is why the bar is so much higher. Now, before I go to the third one, positioning and messaging being the first two, let me pause here for a second because the third one is what brings it all together. If you're in the stage where you are building your go-to-market strategy and clearly you need to transform your go-to-market strategy from the one you have now to a well-defined and scalable go-to-market strategy that actually works, this is what we do inside of my go-to-market program. I've worked with hundreds of founders to transform their go-to-market strategy and unlock growth. To learn more about it, just comment GTM in the comments below and I'll send you the link with the details. And also smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really likes it when you do that. Let's go to mistake number 3. Mistake number 3, and I hear this all the time, and I've also made this mistake, is the massive ICP mistake. This is when founders tell me, TK, this is a multi-billion-dollar market. We're gonna get a slice of that, which is exactly what you want to be telling your VCs if you're fundraising, but is not what you want to be telling your ideal customers or not what you should be using for your go-to-market strategy. Let me explain. A massive ICP is code word for we have a huge TAM, total addressable market, which is awesome. If you're raising venture capital, you need to show that you're going after a multi-billion-dollar market, which means that you can actually be a billion-dollar company, which means that they should write you a $20 million check. Otherwise, they won't talk to you. I get that. However, your prospects don't care. Your ICP doesn't care. And here's why it matters. When you are choosing your messaging, when you are choosing your positioning, steps 1 and 2, right? When you're doing these two things, if you're thinking about billions of people, your messaging is going to be diluted. It's going to try and attract so many different types of people, you will have diluted messaging, which means they'll sound like everybody else's. If you try to go after billions of people, at least to get to the next stage of growth, and I'll define what that is for you in a second, you're gonna have zero positioning because there's gonna be thousands of competitors that are out there. However, if you start to get more specific, if you say, look, I'm at 300K ARR right now, and in the next 12 months, I wanna get to 3 million in ARR. It's as crazy as it sounds, maybe conservative for some of you, or maybe aggressive for some of you. I don't know, no judgment. Every company's different. It's kind of crazy in the AI era right now because it's not real ARR, it's ERR, experimental run rate, which means that you're probably not going to renew that contract. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get to the focus. Let's just say you want to get from 300K ARR to 3 million in ARR. The question is not your massive ICP because your customers don't care. The question is, what do those customers look like to get to the 3 million in ARR? And let's just say your average deal sizes are 100K. Probably on the higher end, who knows? If it's 100K, how many customers is that? You break that down. Well, to get the next, say, 30 customers, what does that ICP look like? Here's why it's important. When you choose the right ICP and you define it in a proper way, it's easier to say for those 30 types of customers, what does that specifically look like? Are we 10 times better than the competition? What is our positioning? And what is our very specific message that can actually attract them? And that way I can take that ICP and I can fuel it into my go-to-market execution. And the execution is your ads, your cold emails, your events that you go to, any number of channels that you're going after. You can get more specific because now you have specific messaging, you have specific differentiated positioning, and you have an ICP that's driving all of that. But on the flip side, when you go after the massive ICP, what ends up happening is you end up with positioning that's not very clear, zero positioning, and you get diluted messaging. Because sometimes people are, believe it or not, trying to go after two massive ICPs, and they're hedging. It's like, oh, we're for accountants and for lawyers. It's like, well, do you realize how different they are? You go to a conference, you think accountants and lawyers are hanging out? Probably not. which is why it's super important to get very specific on all three of these. All right, let's recap. Top 3 mistakes on why your go-to-market strategy is not working. Again, I want to congratulate you. You've decided that it's not that one more feature. It's your go-to-market, so you got to fix your go-to-market, which is awesome. Number 1, you have diluted messaging. You need to fix your diluted messaging. Number 2, you have zero positioning. That's the second most common mistake. And number 3, you're going after a massive ICP. You actually flip this. This is where the magic starts to come together. If you actually get specific on your ICP, then you can start to look at who are the players in that specific ICP, and you can actually position yourself against those specific players, and you can develop messaging for that specific ICP. If you flip it backwards, you actually get a proper scalable go-to-market strategy, and that's how you drive growth. So now you know the top 3 mistakes that I see over and over and over for founders who have a broken go-to-market strategy and how to actually fix it. And by the way, this is not me poo-pooing on you. The reason I'm doing this video is I've made these mistakes as well. I've learned from them, I've suffered from them, and I'm sharing here so that you don't have to as well. Also, if you're in this stage where you're building out your go-to-market strategy and you want a step-by-step process to follow, and you want to actually transform your go-to-market strategy from the one you have now, which isn't working, to a well-defined and scalable go-to-market strategy so you can unlock growth, this is why I created my Unstoppable Go-to-Market Program. Inside of my Unstoppable Go-to-Market Program, we help you transform your go-to-market strategy. Number 1, we build out your ideal customer profile. We have a very specific process for this that yields clarity and results. Number 2, we build out your messaging and positioning. I call this the manifesto. It's a custom framework that I've developed over 6 years on how to develop your messaging, your positioning, your value proposition, and your strategic narrative. Once you have those 2 things, you have your go-to-market strategy. But no go-to-market strategy is complete without the 3rd pillar. The 3rd pillar is your Broadway show. This is a consistent set of sales and marketing activities that you can run to bring your messaging to your ICP on a consistent basis so that you can generate pipeline, get into more customer conversations, and close revenue and accelerate your path to the next stage of growth. To learn more about the program, all you have to do is comment below with GTM. Also, if you want on-demand access, you can also go to the description and click on the link we have in there, and you'll be taken to the page. Here's what the page looks like. On that page, you'll get all the details on how the program is structured, how it works. Now, the better the fit, the better the results. So if you'd like to work together, all we ask is that you fill out an application form. The application will ask you a set of questions to help me understand whether you're a good fit for the program and whether we can actually help you. Once you submit your application, I'll review it personally, and if it's a fit, I'll send you all of the details, answer any questions you have, and get you onboarded. Typically, founders that join the program are able to transform their go-to-market strategy within the first 3 weeks of joining. Once they transform it, they're able to launch their Broadway show, they're able to collect data, and they're able to iterate and scale on it. And we support you for a full year after joining the program so that you're set up for success. So just follow the link in the description below or comment GTM in the comments, and I'll send you a link to that as well. Okay, once you have submitted the application, you'll probably want to know about other founders that have been successful with it. So you can watch this video. Inside of this video, France from Boodlebox will explain how he fixed his ICP and his messaging. And once doing that, he was able to actually get to $1 million in ARR within 12 months of joining the program. So you can check out that episode next. I want to thank you for watching. If you got value, smash that like button. I also drop an episode like this every Sunday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next episode or inside the Go-to-Market program. Take care, everybody.